kick off the channel, we are going to be making something that is essential for pretty much a lot of the things that we're going to do, and that is a fume hood. A fume hood is something used in a lot of chemistry labs for the sake of, I don't know, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's usually a box that will siphon off the fumes from a chemical reaction, dangerous fumes like hydrogen or chlorine gas. And we are going to be needing that for some of the projects that we're going to be doing on this channel. Particularly, one of the first things we're going to be doing is making alumina or aluminum oxide. And to do that, we're going to be working with stuff like hydrochloric acid, aka muriatic acid. And this is not something you really want to, just have free floating. It's fumes. It's not something you want to have. And the fumes that this thing gives off while it's reacting is with metals is not exactly pleasant or safe. Oh yeah! Wow! Oh! Yeah. So in order to deal with the hazards of working with this stuff and reacting it with metals in a home setting, we are going to be making a fume hood. Now this one's not going to be very big. It's going to be based entirely around essential components. A couple things here are optional. This is part of a vacuum that I scrapped. That is essential. That is what's going to create the suck for the fume hood. These parts are optional right here. The LED strip and the burner. LED strip is just for good illumination inside of it. And this is to heat up some of the reactions to make them go faster, or to react them in general, depending on what the reaction is. And I'm going to try to make it fit on top of this right here. That's a little wobbly. I need to make this desk a little stronger. But yeah, let's get to it.
All right, so the first thing, get a couple of measurements, see where we want to cut. So on the box it says this is a 2-foot LED strip. And I'll make sure that's actually true. Oh, okay, it's exactly 2 feet. So I'm going to give a little bit of room so I can so I won't damage the light whenever I'm installing the side panels and whatnot. And so it's at 24 inches exactly. We're going to go ahead and make our marks at about 25 inches. Alright, made our little marks. So something that somebody told me that somebody taught me a while back when I first started getting into stuff like this. They said that when you make your marks, you always want to make little arrows or V's like this. It's more of like a arrow / V. That's because even if you make like a little mark, that's never going to be perfectly on the line. So when you make these little V's, it's kind of like you're making like a little average of where that line is. It makes it easier to line everything up. especially like when you take a roller or something to it and try to make a straight line. So now we're just going to use a little carpenter's rake and try to line everything up. Should I be using mechanical pencil? No. Do I care? No. Alright. So this is going to be like the top where I hook everything on, hook the LED on. The LED strip. My bad. Alright, so the next measurement we're going to need to get is a size that will comfortably fit this coal burner. Alright. Yeah, not how long you are. About 10 inches. What's this sticker say? 2 by 4. It's obviously the 4, it's the 2. I wonder if I didn't have 12 inches. Alright, so let's measure out to about 12 inches. All right, so came back, took a break, came back, realized I wasn't recording it, but basically what I did is I just finished drilling out all these holes right here. And then I just dropped down with my skill saw and cut this piece out, filed the edges just a little bit. All right, so now I gotta see if I can make the vacuum cleaner bottom fit to this. All right, next step, and low-key kind of dreading this step, is to add some epoxy putty, since that boundary didn't seal perfectly. So I put putty like along right here and all the rims to kind of hold it in place. I'm really dreading it because that stuff stinks.
Yep, this is it right here. Just a little tube of epoxy putty. Ooh, yeah. It's some pretty loud stuff. It smells like tuna. Why does epoxy smell like tuna? Or actually, better yet, why does tuna smell like epoxy putty? So I feel like a food and epoxy putty should not go in the same sentence together, much less have the same smell. Packaging is annoying as shit. Oh, whatever. Break off the bar. Oh, it's worse. Just gonna go ahead and mix it. It'd be a lot easier if I had another glove. No idea where half of my gloves went. Alright. I'm gonna shove some epoxy putty up in here. Gotta work relatively quickly with this because apparently it has like a work time of 5 minutes once it's nicely mixed. Oh, I should have made that a little bigger. Oh boy. Oh. Yeah. Squish it up in there. I think my biggest mistake was the fact that I made this hole way too big. Oh, I swear I need the fume hood to work. To even work with this stuff. It smells so bad. Smack. Oh, I'm gonna regret touching this. Oh, hey, it's not sticking to my hand. My hand's probably gonna smell like this stuff for 7 days, though. It's like one of those weird ASMR videos. Alright, so here's how we're going to test to see if the vacuum is actually going to be strong enough. So, instead of using spray paint or something like that, something smelly, because I could probably just smell it either end, I'm going to use propane. The reason why I'm using propane is because even in its gas form, it's still denser than air. So it should sit low to the bottom of this. So I'm gonna hold this near the bottom. If I can smell the propane right here at this outlet, then I'll know that it's working. Don't do this at home. Propane is one of the most dangerous gases out there, but it can still cause hypoxia if inhaled in high amounts.
Yeah, so I can definitely smell it. So so this is definitely pulling enough. I was also noticing I could feel the draft going into the fume hood. So awesome. There's our blower. So now we're gonna move on to the next thing. All right, technically the next thing we should do is add the frames, like right about there and along the bottom to be able to put the door. But we are just gonna go ahead and start sealing it a little bit. So the next step is to put on some silicone caulk. Sorry, I meant silicone caulk. So next step is to add some silicone caulk. Okay, as you can see, I have silicone caulked the mess out of this thing. Yeah, I need to let this cure before I move on to anything else. And yeah, a little messy with it, but that's okay. I'd rather be a little messy and not look so pretty than have a really pretty box. And have a really pretty box with an oven, a suck, and a light. So yeah, I'm gonna take a break for a little bit.